Hello everyone, welcome to the final of the E3 2021 podcasts we're doing. I'm joined once again by my good friends Reese and Elliot.
Hello everyone.
As is tradition.
So there was the one thing we were waiting on the whole time. Nintendo did actually pull off a direct. And it was the one that everyone was going in with the most hope for, even before people decided E3 was lackluster.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
Like, the one thing I liked about E3's happening and Nintendo's involved was, yes, we're definitely getting a direct in June. That was one of the things that popped in my head. So I was like, yes, sorted. Do you think if E3 hadn't happened, they would have done this direct anyway?
I think it's a possibility considering they had so much information to give out.
Yeah, my thought is, now that we've seen the whole thing, imagine if they had to sort of Twitter drop half of that. We would have had to do loads in one go. I mean, that to me seems a bit off.
Yeah. I feel like if they had done it, it would probably have been in July or August. Maybe.
I will say, I don't think we're going to be completely immune from Twitter drops for the rest of the year with Nintendo. I think like there will be a couple more announcements. We'll get to this at the end, but I think there'll be a couple of announcements that will be not in a direct, and it will be a Twitter drop.
Yeah, I can see that.
It has already been announced we are getting more Pokemon news tomorrow.
Yeah, that is an example. That wasn't in the direct yesterday, but we do now know we're going to see a bit about Pokemon Unite. At least this time they said it is. Yeah, at least this time they just said, they did it to clarify it's just Pokemon Unite.
Yeah.
That is not something I'm watching live.
Don't want another repeat of last year's Pokemon Presents.
I mean, we'll discuss what we think about Nintendo's year as well by the end of it, because we've discussed what the future of each of these companies kind of is at the end of each of our talks. But the direct happened. Probably it's the earliest presentation we had in the entire week, so it was a nice thing to sort of like just relax throughout most of the day and get done. First,
even then though, like Microsoft's was at like 6, so
I'm getting up the notes I have of everything that got revealed, because a lot got revealed in this direct, a lot more than I was expecting.
Yeah, I don't think it was as much as Microsoft, but it was still a hell of a lot.
Yeah, I mean Microsoft's was like a good hour and a bit. Nintendo's was only 40 minutes.
I think the fact, though, is Nintendo... one of the things that they've proven by having these presentations back-to-back is Nintendo's really nailed how to do these kinds of presentations. They know, stick to the games, don't overdo it, just...
I mean, at the same time, most of these companies only really started, like, last year or the year before. Like, the earliest outside Nintendo we got is Sony State of Play. Meanwhile, with Nintendo, they've been doing this since, I think, like 2013, 2014. In fact, probably even before that, probably 2012. So, at this point, they would have to have gotten the format down.
Okay, so, first thing they opened with was a Smash character. And it's... I must be honest, I got it the second I saw the volcano.
Same.
I did as well. I was thinking this is either Tekken or something Bowser related.
And it's Tekken related. It's Kazuya from Tekken is coming in, and he's an interesting choice to be the Tekken rep. I would have said a lot of people were saying Heihachi was who they thought, but he already had a Mii costume in.
Yeah, honestly, I think Heihachi is already he's already in so many games when it comes to Tekken reps. Like, he was in Soul Calibur 2 for Christ's sake, so I feel like Kazuya is definitely a good pick.
Yeah, especially because Kazuya used to be the main character.
He was the main character in the first game. But there's a thing that Reese pointed out as well, which is this one's a bit out of left field considering Tekken has had no place on Nintendo other than the GBA game.
Yeah, because even with Terry Bogard and the whole Neo Geo, we saw some of those come to the Virtual Console at least first.
And SNK was a big part of the early eShop.
Yeah.
And of course, you get a sense of Sakurai's a big fan of old SNK, so it was really a passion project for him to get Fatal Fury in.
Oh, yeah.
I get a sense this one was Namco's helping develop the game, so this is a bit more of a thank you to them, because they only got one rep in Smash Bros. At this point, which is Pac-Man.
Yeah.
So I get a sense that... this is a... You get another... what? You can have another Namco rep in here.
But you know what? The more I think about it, the more I think, like... I don't think that many people were expecting a Tekken rep, but it makes too much sense to... Like, it makes too much sense to not put him in, because, like, he is Tekken. It's one of the biggest fighting game franchises of all time. Of course, a Tekken rep is going to be coming into the game eventually.
It does feel like, with the exception of Mortal Kombat, we now have a rep from most of the big fighting games. We have two Street Fighter reps, we have a Fatal Fury rep, and we now have a Tekken rep coming in. I mean, we'll find out more about his moveset on the 28th, when Sakurai's going to go into a full detail in regards to it. What did you guys... but then one of the things I found funny was Reese correctly predicted that the 10-hit combo was coming was going to be part of his moveset, and that was shown off in the trailer.
I mean, I'm not a big fan of Tekken, even I know about the 10-hit combo, so...
Yeah.
I'll tell you
it is the iconic thing to every character. Each one does have their own separate 10-hit combo.
I think they did some cool stuff there. I mean, that being said, I would have thought Elliot might have considered getting Tekken, considering that Noctis from Final Fantasy 15 was added as DLC.
For separate.
Yeah, the thing is, I never really played any of the Tekken games. About a year or two ago, recently got the first Tekken game for PS1, and I played it and I realized I really am not good at Tekken.
Joe, I
can't even get past the second fight. I'm shit at fighting games. The only ones I'm actually competent at are Smash Bros, the Naruto Ninja Storm games, and Soul Calibur, and that's only slightly.
So, I mean, I got Tekken 7 when it was the PlayStation free game of the month. I got Tekken 7 with that. What? It does feel a bit weird. I quite like Tekken, if I'm honest. I was a big Tekken fan when I was younger. For the record, I was a Paul Phoenix main back in the day. But
because of the hair.
Yeah, because he looked like an even more powerful version of Guile. And so, I mean, I'm hoping we'll get... The one thing I'm really hoping for is with the Spirits, it's all the fighters from the first game at least.
Yeah.
So...
Yeah, I imagine we get the ones from at least the first game. Maybe we get Jin in as a Spirit as well.
I think Jin makes a lot of sense as well. He's a big part of Tekken. I mean, he's obviously what's going to happen now is when people do these... if you could make an Echo Fighter of every single Smash character... Everyone's going to say Jin and Heihachi when it comes to Kazuya.
Yeah. Which doesn't really make a lot of sense, because Jin doesn't have his father's fighting style anymore.
No.
He stopped after Tekken 4.
Yeah, no, he's...
I don't think... Would Heihachi make sense? Because I think Kazuya and Heihachi have pretty similar fighting styles as well. Or different fighting styles.
Yeah, because they still use the same martial arts.
They are...
Mishima, karate.
Yeah, they are...
Okay.
Yeah, the one... I will say, though, I mean, they picked it... This is one of the few times that there's a rep from a game that was also in PlayStation All-Stars, because Heihachi was in PlayStation All-Stars.
He was just DLC, though, wasn't he?
Yeah. I get a sense, though, with this one, that this is the biggest... I think this is the closest we will get to a sort of PlayStation rep on Smash Brothers now. I don't see another PlayStation esque character coming in now. I think I've buried my expectations that it will be the final one will be Crash.
Because the last major one we had before Kazuya was Snake. or a PlayStation rep, I think.
Yeah, I suppose you could
Yeah.
say Snake was because Metal Gear Solid was such a big part of PlayStation
I would
1.
I would also say Joker as well.
Yeah, again, Joker's a big part of PS4, despite the fact Atlas does have some representation on Nintendo systems. But this is as far away from Nintendo as possible. Only on handhelds with Nintendo.
Yeah.
Do we think this means that we're going to see a Tekken game, or some Tekken games, come to the Switch in some form?
Well, we may see some of the old ports come forward, because we were expecting the Game Boy Virtual Console to be released soon. Because we've already had the NES and the SNES.
Game Boy does make a lot of sense, but a lot of people also want N64 as well.
Yeah, but a lot of people thinking that may not work as well on Switch.
Honestly, when it comes to like the next Virtual Console thing they do, I'm calling the original Game Boy.
My hope if they do original Game Boy, we get the original Pokemon games. That should be front and center.
100%, yeah, definitely.
Well, I don't think they'll do that, because they already sell them standalone now.
Yeah, but
Well, that was just on the 3DS, which they discontinued now.
I think it's a good way to imagine how much you add to Nintendo Switch Online subscription. If this £20 a year subscription, you have access to the original Pokemon games. That's a good deal at that point.
Actually, here's a question: if they were to do like to do Game Boy, do you think they would lump Game Boy Color in there as well?
I think they did.
I personally think so. Yeah.
I mean, they did. I can see it because they do kind of consider Game Boy Color more of an expansion on the Game Boy than an actual new console.
I think they do, but not at launch. So, like, 2 or...
Yeah, that's what I was thinking.
Yeah,
maybe like a year down the line or something.
Not even that. Maybe like half a year down the line, they start saying, okay, we've exhausted the original Game Boy, let's start putting Game Boy Color games on here. And...
in that case, gold and silver as the launch titles for that. Come on!
So...
Yeah, because otherwise, if you just stuck with original Game Boy, it'll just be black and white or green and black for like half a year.
And I mean, some of the Game Boy ports that we've had on the Switch have not looked great brought on there. So I think they need something. If they're going to do it, they need to excite us, especially considering how many people want N64 over it. Next thing they showed off was that Life is Strange collection and True Colors are both coming to the Switch, which I don't even care about that because I'm not going to get the Switch versions of them.
I mean, it's gonna be majorly downgraded. We already know that, and as me and Reese have said plenty of times, we could give less of a shit about Life is Strange.
Yeah, I don't want to play those games, so why would I want to play them on inferior hardware?
Exactly.
Oh boy, I can't wait to take How Do You Do Fellow Kids dialogue on the go.
Next thing they showed off was Guardians. Was again the Eidos Montreal game that's being published by Square Enix. Guardians of the Galaxy is coming to the Switch.
Yeah, and that's
a version.
Yeah, that's what.
Yeah.
Did you?
And as a lot of people are saying, this is gonna look like shit on the Switch.
Incidentally, on that front, did you guys actually notice? Was it actually shown in the Direct? It was a cloud version, or and I missed it, or was that revealed later? Because I don't think they did reveal that in the Direct.
Well, a lot of people have reported it's the cloud version afterwards.
Yeah, no, it is that.
So I was thinking maybe they revealed it on Treehouse and we missed it.
Unless they do like majorly downgraded, like Witcher 3 levels of downgrade, I don't really see them doing otherwise.
But that being said, Witcher 3 does look good in handheld mode. Like, you really can tell how much effort was put into making that thing portable when you see it on a portable screen, compared to when you see it on a...
But I mean, it still doesn't look nearly as good compared to like the other versions.
No. I definitely would get it on PC or one of the new consoles before I'd ever get it on the Switch.
Yeah,
exactly.
Skip ahead, they also revealed Doom Eternal with its DLC, and that looks atrocious on Switch.
Yeah, that really does.
It looks like a fucking Wii game.
Yeah. That's what I find amazing. Like, we saw, like, that does not look good when we saw what they're doing to Doom Eternal on the Xbox Series X in the Microsoft show a couple of days ago.
Yeah.
So then it was a Worms Rumble.
that had so many problems with the video. It was frame dropping.
My God, the frame rate. It was so bad.
They really need to fix that before launch.
Because it was literally worse than Legends Arceus.
At least with that one, we've seen some new footage of that, and it's starting to look better.
Actually, it's kind of a problem I think a lot of some Nintendo games have. Like, I actually wrote my Miitopia review coming out soon. That game had a lot of frame rate issues, which I thought was really odd because the 3DS version didn't have any, from what I remember.
Next game that they talked about was a sort of a side-scrolling RPG. It's called Astoria Ascending.
I saw that. It isn't the same character designer behind that Dragon's Dogma or something?
I think
Dragon's
it is,
Dogma.
Yeah, I think it
is.
is.
It's one with the barbarian woman who was built like a tank with a massive ass.
Yeah, I think it's that one. It's not the. It looks interesting. I might give it a go, but you got to remember, Chris Tales is coming out next month, and that looks like it's an amazing RPG.
Yeah.
So, incidentally, I really think that one's going to. Apparently, it's going to be a bit of a spiritual successor to classic Final Fantasy and Chrono Trigger, and it will come on Game Pass day one. So I'd honestly say give that one a go, but it does look a bit weak when that one that's had really great animation from an indie studio is kind of out doing it. But I'm willing to give it a go if it comes on sale.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm going to give it a go.
So
Nintendo will fix their Switch sales problem.
we know Nintendo's working on that at this point in time.
As I said, it's because of the most recent update. They reported it when the new update first came out, essentially saying people who haven't gotten the update, we won't ask you to update your Switch. People who have, just hang in now. We'll sort it out. We'll try and get it sorted out.
One of the things I found.
The problem with Switch, though, you need to update it to access the eShop.
Exactly. So I couldn't have pre-ordered any of the games I did pre-order after this if I didn't.
Just fingers crossed it's fixed for Mario Golf.
Well, it doesn't affect online multiplayer, so that's not going to be an issue on that front, unless you bought the game. So unless you bought the game digitally, I wouldn't imagine there's a problem there.
Yeah, I pre-ordered physically.
Same.
Mario Golf.
I pre-ordered physically, yeah.
The only one I pre-ordered digitally is one that we got coming up, and it's only because I kind of wanted at all times. It's such a good multiplayer game that I wanted at all times. Next thing...
Donkey Donkey Literature Club.
Oh no, I cannot wait to get traumatized while on the bus.
Oh yeah.
Then they showed off a bit more of 2 Point Campus, which, looks alright.
I mean, I know 2 Point Hospital does have a lot of people who really love it, so I'm not going to say this game, I'm not going to just dismiss this game. I'm not going to get it, but it seems interesting.
Yeah, because 2 Point Hospital always has a lot of players on Twitch and even YouTube. You can always see on the trending tab.
I'm wondering, though, is 2 Point Campus striking while the iron's hot, and this is also going to get that sort of following? Or is this going to be like a bit of a, we're getting a bit bored of this now type effect, and it won't have the same sort of following?
Yeah, I was thinking that, because looking at the footage, compared to the console's ports of a hospital, there's a lot less NPCs walking around. Yeah, so it looks a lot more empty.
That is definitely...
I feel like it might be able to do enough different to make it feel different to 2 Point Hospital, but at this point I think it's a bit too early to tell.
Yeah.
So, then they started moving to then the next few announcements were really hyped for me. They showed off... First off, they showed that Sega is celebrating Super Monkey Ball Banana... is celebrating Super Monkey Ball's 20th anniversary by releasing a collection of the first 3 games together, and it's called Super Monkey Ball Banana Mania.
Is it bad that at first when I saw all the bananas I thought, Donkey Kong?
I recognise the logo from some of the old Monkey Ball games I have played.
Yeah, I'm not really that big into the series. The only one I've played is a Banana Blitz.
I will say the game.
That's just because I got it with the Wii, honestly.
These ones are a collection of the GameCube games, and those are considered some of the best by. Those are considered some of the best by the people that really are into the series. So I think you're going to get a better taste of what Monkey Ball is really like from getting this collection and getting Banana Blitz HD.
They've also been known as the most notoriously difficult, from what I've heard.
Oh, yes.
In fact, that was one of the reasons why Banana Blitz HD doesn't work. It's designed to be difficult if you're using motion controls. When you take motion controls out of the mix, you lose a lot of that difficulty.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
So it was revealed soon after that it won't be Nintendo exclusive because Sony put a trailer up for it.
Oh, yeah, Sony's. It's one of a few games that won't be Nintendo exclusive, but to be honest, I think I kind of want to get the Switch version because this feels so Nintendo that it should be on a Nintendo system.
Yeah, especially the gyroscope in the Switch itself.
Yeah, the gyroscope controls are probably going to really help out with that. Is it coming to Steam as well?
Oh, I'm not sure. I only saw Sony's trailer.
I'll have a look.
Because another game that was in this thing that they didn't reveal it was multi-plat until after the Direct. There was one other game that at least I know about where that was the case. We'll get to that when we get to it. But I mean, are you?
It's coming for Switch, PS4, PS5, Xbox One, Xbox Series X, and PC.
Oh, okay.
So a lot of consoles it's coming up for.
I'm glad in one level because I think more people can enjoy Monkey Ball that way, and I think these are some of the really good games. So I'm probably going to pick. I'm actually probably going to pick this one up. I'm just not sure if it's going to be on the Switch or my PC. What about you?
Well, I'll probably pick up the Switch version.
Are you going to pick up the Switch version? What about you, Elliot?
I'm going to get the Switch version. It just looks so much like it fits on Nintendo.
Yeah.
Then. Possible until the announcement. This is possibly my favorite announcement of the entire Direct. We're getting a new Mario Party called Mario Party Superstars.
Yeah, surprised we're getting one like so soon after Super Mario Party. Like that game already came out a couple years ago.
I mean, I sort of knew this was happening because why else are you suddenly adding 2 years after release? Not even that, 3 years after release, online multiplayer for the board games on Super Mario Party, unless you're testing the net coding for that game. So they have announced that the entire game is. So they've obviously done the net coding test. They know how to make these games function online. They've now added it to this game, which will have it all online from day one, including the ability to play with random people, which is the best decision they made because
not to mention this game almost seems like it's going to be not fully but a bit of a remake of the other games because it's coming out with 100 mini games from the past series and 5 of the boards from the N64 era. So in other words, it's Super Mario. It's the Mario Party the Top 100 that we actually wanted.
Yeah, it's bringing back the boards from Mario Parties 1 through 3.
And
most popular. And
I believe the mini games are all from 1 through 3 as well, but they've sort of slightly updated it with some of the mechanics and the concepts
the
from
graphics,
Super Mario,
thankfully.
And the graphics, thankfully, from Super Mario Party. Like, did you see them playing the game in Treehouse Live?
Yeah, I saw a bit of it. Yeah,
I saw a bit of it. Actually, no. Sorry, no. I kind of stopped partway through the Metro one because I just realised I'm not really listening. I don't really watch the Treehouse Live ones. Treehouse Live songs anyway.
I will say that they make Peach's birthday cake look delicious.
Oh yeah, just from the trailer.
That's
just gonna say, do you guys see the meme from that?
Which one was that?
No, I
haven't.
Because from one of the camera angles in the trailer, it has DK from behind sitting down.
Oh yes, I saw this.
So they posted the old clip from the old cartoon with his ash cheeks facing up saying, "You may slap it once."
I mean, those tweets have been around for ages, haven't they?
Yeah. But now it's been even more.
Andy, they must have done that on purpose.
I want to get an entire box set of that show and just binge it. I know it's terrible, but my God, it's so memeable.
So, Incidentally, this feels like the Mario Party game we've really been waiting for at last.
Yeah.
Like, one of the things I noticed from the Treehouse Live segment was the stars now cost 20 coins. So the mini games have much more jeopardy. Hang on.
Yeah.
And that to me is really excellent choice. So, what do you... I mean, we only saw 2 of the boards that are going to be in this one. Peach's Birthday Cake and the space one, I believe, from Mario Party 3.
Yeah.
What do you think about... what do you think about the mini-game choices that we saw? I think some of them are really good ones.
Yeah, like we saw the flag one with the Shy Guy and pirate ship.
That's a great game. I like that one. I'm also glad that the online multiplayer with randos means I don't have to make sure all my friends want to play the game at the same time, and I don't have to face computer opponents that are really dumb.
Yeah. And also, thankfully, due to being Mario Party, online randos can't really troll you.
True. That's a plus. I like the fact, though, that... I'm going to be interested to see how it actually works out when we get it. But as long as I've got a Wi-Fi, I'm probably going to be playing online matches only with this game.
Yeah, and just as long as it's a repeat of Smash.
Even if it is, Nintendo always find a way to fix their netcoding.
Yeah.
Down the line. So, that's looking great. It comes out October the 29th. That's a very good release. So, Gamely announced they came out after that and then said, we want to talk about Metroid for a bit. So they talked a bit about Metroid Prime 4 and that they're still working on it. I mean...
Which is fair enough, because they did have to restart development recently from scratch.
Yeah, that was 2 years ago. I'm interested to see... I reckon we'd see... the grand unveiling of this game, like the grand re-reveal of this game.
Yeah.
At the earliest, it will be a direct in September. At the latest, I think we'll see it. I reckon we'll see it either in the next direct or the direct after that. I think that's when we see Metroid Prime 4. I think.
Personally, I'm going to say at the latest, we'll be seeing it at next year's E3.
I think that's the latest they can afford it at that point, because they need. I think at that point they really need to show off Metroid Prime 4, what they've been working on. I find it interesting that Metroid Prime 4 is going to have this really long development cycle, and is really going to be that game. It's really going to be have had so much development time put into it and so many ideas. I think we're going to in for a really great Metroid game when we finally get it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I really do.
Well, just going to say, let's just hope it doesn't get crunched too much.
True, but I get a sense that there's no delayed time. In fact, if anything, I think the last announcement in this trailer kind of suggested that they don't want to crunch this game because they don't want to have it launched too near another game they want to talk about. So, let's talk...
And then there's this one is probably the one I'm most excited for.
They then decided to talk about the next Metroid they've been working on, this rumoured 2D Metroid that we've been hearing about for quite some time. That's been made by Mercury Steam, who made the Metroid Samus Returns on the 3DS. They unveiled the first new 2D Metroid in 19 years. It's called Metroid Dread.
So, what I find insane is that they even admitted this in the Treehouse. This is the cancelled Metroid Project Dread. This is a game that was cancelled so many years ago, and they brought it back. Like, holy hell!
Yeah, and now we find out why Nintendo's always kept the trademark up on it.
Nintendo tends to keep a lot of those trademarks.
just in case.
Just in case, yeah. And then, so we might see Super Mario 4 at some point. Do you think... that's one of the trademarks they did. They did SuperMario4.com at one point.
Yeah.
So how do you guys feel then about the look of this new Metroid?
Oh, it looks fantastic.
Yeah, I was a bit uncertain about Samus's new suit at the beginning, due to its proportions and colour scheme.
Yeah, I'm not the hugest fan of the colour scheme. I think Samus's design is really excellent in the first few Metroids and Metroid Prime. And even to a certain extent, Fusion has a really good design for Samus. But this one, I'm not entirely sure about it, but I think I'll get used to it after a while.
Is it designed like linked to any of the previous games or something?
Yeah, it's because this is a sequel to Fusion, so she still has the Fusion suit. It's just been heavily altered now.
Yeah, so this takes place at the end of the Metroid timeline.
Yeah, which is why this is officially Metroid 5.
Yeah, that's what I don't know. I love the fact that they started out by saying Metroid 5. Like, they really unveiled that this is something we're taking very, very seriously at that point. And
so it makes me wonder then, what if this is the end of the timeline, what they're going to do with the 2D Metroids afterwards?
They
did say that this is the end of the current story arc, so there could be another one afterwards. We don't know yet.
Yeah, there's a lot.
Maybe.
Yeah, because they did sort of tease the story. They did sort of tease the story arc would have a continuation in Metroid Fusion, and they just never went back to it.
Yeah.
So, I mean, how do you think this one's going to... What do you think of the look of this one? Because I've seen a lot of people say it kind of looks like Metroid, this one didn't have much of a budget going into it, but I thought the game looked pretty good.
It looks really good, yeah.
It does look decent. It's not as good as like a Prime game, because it's not meant to be.
I mean, let's be honest. When it comes to Metroid, that's going to beat the Prime games. The Prime games are masterpieces in that sense.
Yeah.
I'm glad though there's a AAA development company making a Metroidvania game though. Now, because it's been so long since we've seen Metroid and Castlevania, and now we're finally seeing one of those franchises proper make a return. It reminded me a lot of Fusion, especially with the robot that's chasing you. Reminded me a lot
the
of
Emmys.
The Emmys, yeah. That reminded me a lot of the
SAX.
The SAX. I thought that was what it was called. The SAX from Fusion.
The saxophones.
But
Samus's worst enemy.
Like that was I remember you were playing that Game Boy game and the Game Boy Advance game. You would it would haunt you when you sort of heard it was coming nearby. So I hope they can really replicate that effect.
Oh yeah, because the SAX was terrifying. Because you literally had no option but to continuously run.
Yeah, you couldn't fight it at all.
I mean, I feel like they could do, because when you look at the trailer, they bump it up like with a very sort of almost horror almost as if it's a horror game. Like when you listen to the music and what they did in the trailer.
It comes out...
As they said, they really wanted to emphasize the dread in the title.
That makes a lot of sense. I think I'm looking so forward to playing this. This will be one of those titles I'm really think is going to prop up Nintendo this year. So,
absolutely.
Especially with the special edition with the art book, that looks amazing.
Yeah. I pre-ordered that, though Elliot will be getting, because of Elliot's issues at the minute with his credit card. It's going to go to him if he doesn't manage to get one in time.
Yeah, dude, you are a saint for that.
No, I've pre-ordered a copy on Amazon as well, so I will be getting to play the game. I am not getting that game digitally because it's like 6 gigabytes.
Yeah, so 6.9 gigabytes.
Like 7
which
gigabytes.
Everyone's making fun of.
Oh yeah. I'll grow up.
Just so we're going to be. I have a feeling anyway about the games we're probably going to need to update our SD cards at some point anyway.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I've actually bought a new micro SD card in prep for the Switch Pro. Next up was Just Dance 2022 coming to the Switch. We know.
Woo.
Then it was a game called Cruisin' Blast, which it's cool arcade racer to be there. Not the best announcement of the direct for me, but I quite like the look of it.
Yeah, especially because I didn't even remember that was a series.
It's very obscure, that one.
Yeah.
Then they had that Dragon Ball Z action RPG.
Kakarot.
Yeah.
Dragon Ball Kakarot, right?
Yeah, it looks alright, but I didn't play this thing on the modern consoles. Why would I play it?
Wasn't Kakarot very mixed?
Yeah, it got a lot of flack because when you're doing side quests, you didn't get any XP for them. It was like minuscule amounts, so you couldn't even level up through it.
That was a dumb move.
And then it also had massively random encounters that pissed everyone off.
So then they talked a little bit more about Mario Golf, which comes out next week, I believe.
Yep.
Yeah.
So it's interesting, the last time we did a direct talk, we were talking a week before Bravely Default 2 came out, and now we're talking a week before Mario Golf comes out.
Yeah.
They did say that Mario Golf will not only have new courses updated after release, it's going to have new characters. So fingers crossed for Diddy Kong. I like the look of the new Donk City course, though, that they've got as well. That looks great.
Oh, New Donk City looks really cool.
I think that's going to be the first free update course.
That's incidentally, that is my favourite Mario level. I think now, New Donk City. It works.
I mean, I think it's most people's favorite Mario level at this point. Like, just it's so big, it's so awesome.
Yeah, and that's also why we have Paul leading Mario Golf now as well as a character.
Yeah.
I'll say I do realise that they're like making her an official like Mario character now. It's like what they did with Rosalina.
Yeah, she turned up in Mario Tennis. She's turning up in Mario Golf. She'll turn up in the next Mario Kart. Almost certainly.
Don't forget, she had the first big comeback with the Mario and Donkey Kong series.
Yeah, she did, didn't she? Yeah, she did.
So, on that note, I mean, Mario. They did a very good job making Mario Golf look good. I mean, we're all really excited to play it again. I'm going to be interested to see what they do with it.
Definitely.
Next up,
we're going to be playing it so much.
Next up was Monster Hunter Stories 2 got an extended gameplay look.
Yeah, so instead of a story trailer that Capcom showed off, we actually saw proper gameplay this time.
I think they made the gameplay look really good. Like, looks awesome.
It looks really good.
It's definitely been expanded apart from the original game.
That's coming out on July the 9th. I mean,
Yes.
I'm very excited to give that a go.
Same.
Absolutely.
Next thing they showed off was something that got given away in a survey, but we'll see.
Oh, yeah.
We have a new WarioWare game coming out on September the 10th called WarioWare Get It Together.
It looks so good. It looks awesome. My God.
It really does.
If I have one complaint about it, and one tiny complaint, it's that it's only 2-player and not 4-player. I would have liked it to be like a 4-player party game like the GameCube
Were
one
the other
was.
games? Were the other games 4-player?
The GameCube one was.
Yeah.
Alright.
But I suppose you don't want to release something like that so close to Mario Party, so I think that makes sense.
Yeah.
I do like the fact that all the characters...
Who knows? They might add another 4 players down the line.
One of the things I did like, though, is they actually made an emphasis on picking different characters will give you different abilities.
Yeah.
So I think I'm probably going to... Unless she doesn't work with my playstyle very well, I think I'm going to be maining Ashley. Now, Elliot, I know you're a big WarioWare fan, so this is probably up your street.
I'm not really that big. I'm not really that big a fan. I haven't really played that much WarioWare, but I do still think the series is really awesome. And just because we haven't gotten much representation for like a good Wario, like the Wii U version of the game wasn't even called WarioWare.
It's called Game and Wario, yeah.
Yeah, so I'm really excited for it. I'm super excited to finally really get into a WarioWare game.
Reese, your opinion on what you thought about WarioWare Get It Together?
Yeah, I think it looks really good. The animations look really smooth.
Yeah, that's what I find really interesting about it. There's some really awesome animation of it in it. It could be great. I'm waiting to give it. I'm looking forward to giving it a go.
Yeah.
Then there was the big extended bit for Elliot. Shin Megami Tensei 5 got its extended look.
It looks so good. It looks so good.
One of it does prove that the leaks were true that we saw. It will be coming out on November the 12th, which, wow, 1 week before Pokemon. That is bold.
Yeah, I'll say now if you guys want, I'll bite the bullet and I'll play and I'll review Shin Megami Tensei 5. You can do Pokemon.
I'm fine with that. I will say though, I personally, in my opinion, I'm looking more forward to Pokemon than I am Shin Megami Tensei 5, but I think that's more because I've got more of an affinity for Pokemon than I do for Shin Megami Tensei.
Especially with the power of nostalgia.
Yeah, like, I've been playing a bit of Nocturne HD on my PC. Not gonna lie, it's not aged as well as I hoped it had.
Personally, I've been really getting into not only the Persona but the Shin Megami Tensei series. Of course, ever since playing Persona 5, I really like the series, so I'm really looking forward to this one.
I think once it comes out, I think then we can start speculating on if Atlus are going to consider bringing the Persona games to the Switch. I think that point, once the Shin Megami Tensei 5's out of the way, then they'll probably really start considering it.
Yeah, maybe see how SMT5 does, like, sales-wise.
I think they're also going to look in Persona 5 Strikers sales record as well, see how that's sold.
Yeah.
Do you...
Still super weird to quote Scott the Was, as I was just trying to upload everything Persona 5 was late, except for, dear God, Persona 5.
So, Reese, what are your thoughts on SMT5? Is this something that suits you, or you think I'm just really concentrating on Pokemon at that time?
Yeah, I'll definitely pick up in the future because it does look incredible. And the music was amazing.
Yeah, the soundtrack is awesome for it. And graphically, it really looks like it's going to push the Switch.
Yeah.
I mean, in all fairness, if you're going to get anything in an SMT game, it's always going to be brilliant music.
So, there was 2 releases they talked about after this. There was a collection called Danganronpa Decadence, which is...
here's the thing. Strangely enough, this, probably outside of Breath of the Wild 2, this was the one Twitter blew up over.
Yeah.
Like, there's so many Danganronpa fans.
So,
which I 100% agree with. It's an amazing series.
I'm dead excited to get this one because it's a really awesome collection of games. It feels overdue considering how big a deal they were on the 3DS.
Yeah. I mean, I will be honest, I would rather have had a 4th game in the series, but you know what, this is a great substitute. I cannot wait to get... I'm definitely getting this collection.
Do you think...
Elliot, we are getting the 4th game in the collection.
Well, we are, sort of.
Yeah, the board game.
Yeah, they're actually extending the board game out, Danganronpa, and call it Danganronpa Summer Camp.
Ultimate Summer Camp.
Ultimate Summer Camp, yes, that's it. I think I'll be picking this one up as well. I like the look of this. Feels like something interesting to extend out from Danganronpa.
Yeah. Because it looks like a better Sonic Shuffle.
Yeah, to be honest,
oh god, don't remind me that game exists.
Do you know what? I was watching this with Ren, and I was kind of going, and his response was when he said these high school students, he went, "They're in high school."
Yeah, it's that classic anime look.
Yeah,
yeah, like anime pushes it. Danganronpa really pushes it.
One of the things I thought about with Danganronpa was when I was like, when Ren's reaction, I was going, "Oh no, please don't make me explain to you what Danganronpa is." will be here all night.
Basically Phoenix Wright, but hosted by a teddy bear and a lot more murdery.
And a lot more pink blood.
There's that I remember when they said at the beginning said it's rated from E10 to mature. I'm like, what mature games are coming into this one? Well, this and the next one.
There are a few actually.
Well, the next one showed up does have that one. The Wii U has even less value now because Fatal Frame Maiden of Blackwater is coming to the Switch.
Which is funny because everyone thought it was a brand new game because no one remembered it.
Yeah, that was what I got.
No, I fully remembered it. I'll say why. Most people consider this the worst one in the series.
It does feel weird. Was there another Fatal Frame game on the Wii U besides that one?
No, this is the only one.
It does feel a bit weird that one of the things I think could improve it is if they one of the things that could work out very well is if they use the gyro controls for handheld mode.
They did for the Wii U. They used the gamepad. However, of course, I mostly know most of my stuff about this from Nitro Red's review. But he said, while it is cool, the novelty wears off eventually, and it at times just becomes a chore to just have to lift it up.
So this is also coming to PlayStation 4 and 5 and the Xbox consoles and PC. So I think the fact this was a multi-plat kind of took away from the Switch version.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I can kind of understand it coming to PlayStation because Fatal Frame was originally a PlayStation IP.
So, yeah, that makes some sense, but I don't understand why it's coming to Xbox. To be honest.
Yeah.
Money! But it's like Xbox. It is like when they put Kingdom Hearts free on Xbox One. I'm like, but the other Kingdom Hearts games haven't been on Xbox. Who's buying this version?
I will say at the very least, I'm going to sort of agree with something that Nitro Red actually put on Twitter after seeing this, which is definitely not the best choice. I'm not going to complain about it because it makes it more likely that we will get Fatal Frame 2 on this, which clearly should be the game we should be getting on the Switch.
If this sells well, I can see that happening. Then we had the terrible-looking Doom Eternal DLC, which, again, it's probably good, but I don't want to play Doom Eternal on my Switch.
And you shouldn't play Doom Eternal as it is, Cal.
Yeah, I shouldn't play Doom Eternal, period, without a keyboard and mouse. They showed off a bit more about what's coming on with Tony Hawk Pro Skater 1 and 2 HD. That's coming to the Switch very soon.
Which isn't so much HD, because it looks like it's been smeared in Vaseline.
What was this game again? Strange Brigade. I don't remember much about that one.
It's like a weird 4-player online mythology shoot them up.
Yeah, that was
It looks like it belongs on the PS2 or the Xbox.
That is a weird looking game. They reminded us again that. Oh, sorry, Reece, what were you going to say?
Just to say, it's also labelled the Switch version, so it's multi-plat as well.
Another multi-plat. That was another thing that kind of threw me off a bit with this Direct. There was a lot of multi-plats in this.
Yeah.
Then they showed off, again, they re-showed off Mario plus Rabbids Sparks of Hope. So,
which was the same trailer, wasn't it, from Ubisoft?
Sort of. They just did it with a bit of extra voiceover.
Yeah.
In it, so
they just did the Nintendo thing, putting voiceover over it.
I don't see a point in that being there. I think Ubisoft showed it off perfectly fine.
Yeah, if Nintendo wanted to do that, they could have gone more into the actual story.
So, then they showed off something which I really did not expect.
Same,
they're bringing back Advance Wars 1 and 2 as what's called the Reboot Camp.
Yeah, which is an amazing title for it.
That honestly, I really thought I quite liked Advanced Wars on the Game Boy Advance. I'm looking forward to giving it a go on Switch.
Yeah, especially because they've redone all the character portraits now, so they're animated. Instead of just being static.
I mean, are you gonna? I'm assuming you might pick this one up, Reece.
Yeah, I definitely am. Yeah.
What about you, Elliot? Does this one appeal to you, or is this kind of not really my thing?
I don't play any of the Advance Wars games, but yeah. But you know what? I kind of like sort of the strategic RPGs like with Fire Emblem and whatnot. I'll give it a go.
I could see that one.
It's basically a more cartoony version of Fire Emblem if you're playing as the US military and bombing everything.
So that comes out December.
Social commentary.
That comes out December 3rd. I think that's a good. I actually thought that was a bad release date for it because it comes out so close to Pokemon. I think a week or two afterwards would have suited it better.
Yeah, definitely. Because Pokemon looks like it's going to be the big holiday game.
Yeah, that's a thing.
I mean, yeah, definitely.
I think that's a dead cert now on the basis of how this Direct went. This was... not to go into much detail, but Nintendo really mapped out the rest of their 2021. I don't think they have anything more to show for the rest of this year.
Actually, just quickly, I'm kind of surprised we didn't get anything on the new Pokemon games.
Yeah, I thought we'd see a little trailer for like Legends Arceus or Black and Brilliant Diamond and Shining Pearl. That's the next remakes. We're getting Black and White remakes. I'm
gonna assume that we'll be getting probably around October, like another Pokemon Presents.
Yeah.
Maybe. I think it depends on if they do sneakily put another announcement in this Pokemon Unite thing tomorrow, but I'm very doubtful.
I mean, we're going to get something for. At the very least, we're going to need to get something before Shining Diamond and Pearl.
No, it's Brilliant Diamond and Shining Pearl.
Brilliant Pearl. Yeah.
I mean,
shows how good at my job I am.
But shall we discuss though? One thing I will discuss about that though is one of the games I really want them to show off, for just stupid reasons, make a new Pokemon channel.
Oh, yeah.
I could actually see that. I could actually kind of see that happening.
The game where your objective is to watch television.
No, actually, like the main thing I want, which I know we will never get, are at the very least ports of the GameCube Pokemon games, like Colosseum, Exegale of Darkness, channel. I just want them on the Switch.
Do you know one of the things I also would like? I like a Pokemon Stadium-like game, something where even the low-level Pokemon you caught had some value because you could enter them in sort of smaller cups or something like that. So it really encouraged you to think differently about your Pokemon collection.
I don't know if we'll ever get that, though, I'll be honest, because, I think one of the biggest things when it comes to like the Pokemon Stadium games is mostly seeing Pokemon in 3D, which we have now, so...
I think it'd be better off as a mode or like a post-game content in a future Pokemon game. Something like the Battle Frontier. Like, why have we not had a Battle Frontier in a Pokemon game in ages? That to me seems like a slam dunk. There was such a good mode.
Yeah, it was really good. I don't know why they did that.
Especially because you all got blue balled in Oras, where they just said the Battle Frontier is coming soon, and it never materialised.
Yeah, it never did.
Yeah.
That was
especially when you take a look at the post game stuff in outside the DLC in Sword and Shield, where you had that dumbass plot line with the two brothers.
Oh yeah.
Shieldbert and Squidward.
And Swordward and Swordward, yeah. Nintendo, were you drunk when you wrote that?
I will say, I did like some of the downloadable content, like the Isle of Armor and the Crown Tundra. Those were all right.
Yeah, like don't get me wrong, the DLC. I mean, the ones out before the DLC came out.
Yeah. Incidentally, on that note, they finished this Direct with most of their Zelda announcements. So they started showing off Hyrule Warriors Age of Calamity DLC. They gave us a bit more of an idea about what that is. And correct me if I'm wrong on this, I don't think what they're giving us is worth 20 quid.
No, especially because we get, one new character in the minute with the Guardian.
And the fact we're also getting the bike, Zelda can ride the bike, and...
Yeah, especially when you consider that, I think you paid less for the original Hyrule Warriors DLC, and you got so much more in them. Like, you got more characters, like, you got more characters, more weapons, an entire battle map.
Then we got another trailer for Skyward Sword, which they're really pushing for next month. I mean, every time they show off a trailer for this one, I kind of buy more into the idea of playing it again. Also,
I do the one thing that I'm not a big fan of is just the fact that they seem to have done very little new with it, and yet they're charging it for the price as if it were a new game.
Yeah, that's definitely true. Though I will say,
and especially when you take a look at the price of the amiibo. Wow, pay 25 quid for the ability to fast travel.
And the thing is,
damn you, Nintendo!
If you missed out on that, there's so many of the fast travel locations in the game. You're not going to notice, really. So it's not as if this was a massive deal if you don't get it. But I can also understand disappointment. I mean, I'm saying that as someone who has successfully pre-ordered it.
Yeah.
Yeah, same pre-ordered it. Shit. I just realized, like, all my Nintendo pre-orders, because they're getting a new card, will probably now be invalid.
You might get lucky because they might have taken a payment beforehand.
Yeah.
Normally, like Nintendo, they like take payment like a week before the things come out, though, don't they?
Yeah, but as I say, we'll deal with that as and when it comes. I think that should be fine. Yeah. But
yeah,
I must be honest. Skyward Sword. I mean, the fact there's going to be 60 FPS is also something that I'm very happy about.
Yeah, definitely.
Like, that's going to improve that game. We've already said that's going to improve that game tremendously.
Yeah.
That means, and also, while we're on the subject, Ballad of the Goddess might be one of the best Zelda themes ever.
Oh, yeah. 100%.
It just sounds epic.
Which is amazing considering the fact that it's just a normal Zelda theme, but backwards.
One of the things I find interesting as well about the trailer for this, they really emphasise the fact that this is the beginning of the timeline. Which, correct me if I'm wrong, but I don't think they emphasised that when Skyward Sword first came out.
No, they did. I think they did. Because, I mean, like, no, I think they did still sort of emphasize that it was the beginning of the timeline. Especially helped that I think the Hyrule Historia thing came out around the same time.
But the thing about Skyward Sword for me is also... But to me, what seems weird about that is the fact that really what Nintendo's trying to do with this is sell it to first-time players. They don't think... They know Skyward Sword doesn't have the best reputation. So they're like...
The whole 5 situation.
Yeah, so I think they're going to... So I think they're trying to sell this to people that didn't get it the first time and hope to get a few double dippers.
So the biggest problem with the original Skyward Sword, if you ask me, was just the motion controls. The fact that they made you use motion controls for literally everything. So the fact that we're not really getting that in this one, I feel like it's definitely going to make this the better version of the game.
Yeah, which is funny because when I got Skyward Sword on release, I never had an issue with the motion controls.
I did with flying. Like when you had to do that mini game where you had to like fly your Lothwing through the hoops while going super fast.
Yeah.
And you had to do it in like I bet just about enough time to do it, and that's if you do it really well. I spent 2 days on that section. It was so frustrating.
Really?
As just because of the motion controls.
Okay, the next one, and the next thing they talked about was the first time they mentioned it is the 35th anniversary of Zelda. They're releasing a Zelda Game & Watch like they did for Mario last year.
Can I just say, this thing is fucking adorable. I love it so much.
And it has so much more content than the Mario one.
Yeah, Mario had like Mario 1 Lost Levels and a Game & Watch game. This one has a Game & Watch game, Zelda 1, 2, and Link's Awakening. I thought when they said it was a free game, there were Link to the Past would be the other one.
Yeah, I was thinking if they put Link to the Past in this thing, I'm gonna flip.
Well, the reason I don't think they did is because it may have been too technically difficult to put on the Game & Watch.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking. Like I was gonna think how would they
do it?
Because Link's Awakening was an original Game Boy game.
Yeah, they still put 3 games on it, which is insane.
Yeah.
So so then they ended the direct with a new trailer for Breath of the Wild 2, with the emphasis that they're aiming for a 2022 release date. And we'll take.
And they make sure to emphasise aiming for, which means apologies pushed back.
I'm going to give you two. I'm going to say two things to this one. I think they will make the 2022 release date, but I think this game's now coming out later than I thought it was.
Yeah.
Mainly, I think it's going to come out November 2022. I think they're aiming for the very end of the year, and it'll be next year's holiday game.
Yeah, the only reason I would think it would come out, I thought originally it would come out in March of 2022 is because, I was thinking it would be a launch title for the Switch Pro, and when that would come out, it would be around the same date that the original did. But
that's not happening. Let's be honest.
Yeah, I don't really see that happening now.
Because all hopes were dashed at the very beginning splash screen where it just said 40 minutes of software only.
I think we'll talk about the Switch Pro in a minute, but what do you actually think of what we saw of Breath of the Wild 2?
Yeah, I thought it looked really good and interesting. And then everyone got thirsty over Link's quarantine hair because he's grown it out.
Oh yeah, he has. He's not got the ponytail anymore. He's got, which means I could cosplay as him.
It's got long flowing hair now.
So
which everyone was just getting thirsty over.
I will admit, I hate to admit, I was a bit thirsty for that as well. Like, it looks really good with long hair. Come on.
Yeah.
So what do you think? But there's also the fact that the skies are such a big part of this new one, and there's like these floating islands all over the place.
Yeah.
That to me really emphasizes why they're bringing out Skyward Sword this year. They want people to get used to this idea of flying mechanics and that sort of exploration.
Yeah. Especially because don't forget the opening shot of the Breath of the Wild 2 trailer mirrored the Skyward Sword opening with both Links falling through the clouds.
Which that to me, and also I think what it looks like they've done is they've taken the map from Breath of the Wild 1 and instead of changed it, they've sort of extended it.
But something that I found really funny was really soon after, of course, the trailer was shown, there was like pictures of a Link falling from the sky going, what the hell? I didn't know they had a link to Fortnite.
Now that would be a weird crossover.
Trust me. Believe it or not, actually, like about a couple weeks ago, a character from my favorite book series, Mistborn, came to Fortnite. Turns out that's just because the author and the guy who runs Fortnite are both really good friends.
One of the things I found interesting about it was no new title for the game. They didn't show the finished title for it, which they've said it's because it gives away a little too much, but they're going to have to tell us what the title is before the game comes out. So that's.
I'm gonna say we'll get a title reveal, and at the same time we get the release date.
I think it's going to be something of the Wild or Breath of the something.
Well, as I said in our private chat before, it's going to be 2 Breath, 2 Wild.
That'd be an interesting one. I really think that if they're going with that one, they don't want to reveal too much about it. They should just say it's called Breath of the Wild 2.
Yeah.
I mean, they have just all they've been doing is calling it. They have kept calling it for the time being Breath of the Wild 2 or the Breath of the Wild sequel.
What do you reckon, Reese?
So.
Yeah, well, it's going to give too much away. It'll probably just be Breath of the Wild 2, Link wins again.
Amazing. There's definitely going to be... I think there'll be some... Judging by Link's appearance, I reckon there's some sort of time skip.
Yeah, because a lot of people have done analysis on the trailer, and they think it looks like it could be taking place in the past.
Oh, that could...
Really?
Yeah, because people have compared the maps, and well, as we already know, all the shrines have gone. People have gone into the texture maps for the original Breath of the Wild, and they've removed a lot of the Zonai statues all over the map in the new gameplay trailer.
Oh, so it does seem like time travel might be something about it, because we've seen time travel in regards to Age of Calamity. It's been a factor in Age of Calamity, and we're now sort of seeing this idea potentially coming in.
Maybe that's why the time travel element was added into Age of Calamity.
Yeah, to try and ease people into its the concept of it.
Even though admittedly the time travel part was my least favorite part of Age of Calamity.
I think
I want you to make me miserable, Zelda. Make me feel like I'm playing Berserk.
so.
Not Sword Art Online.
So, in regards to Breath of the Wild 2, it's coming out. They're aiming for it to come out in 2022. I personally believe it will make 2022 at this point. It will come in late 2022.
Considering the fact that it's now been in development for nearly as long as the original, as Breath of the Wild was, and like we already saw, and they had at least something to show when we saw the first trailer in 2019. I have a feeling we'll be seeing it in 2022 come out.
What do you reckon, Reese? Do you think it makes 2022 or does it go back to 2023?
I think at the moment they'll aim for like the holiday period, but I think in a minute it could miss it, be pushed back.
I think it will. Okay, so yeah, I think we're agreed. The one thing they're aiming for is holiday 2022. This is the holiday game for Nintendo next year. I will say though, the graphics do look like they're a bit of an update to me, which means they might be showing off a bit of the Switch Pro before the Switch Pro's been revealed.
Yeah, because we also saw a few more links to new Zonai powers, where it turns into Chuck Norris being able to swim through land.
Yes. That being said, obviously this is going to have to work on the base model Switches, so who knows what's going on with that.
Because don't forget, the original Breath of the Wild still had to work on the Wii U.
That's true. They're not going to have that constraint anymore, so it'll be interesting to see what they do with this one.
My guess is that they're going to do what they did with Breath of the Wild. Like, the game was originally optimized for Wii U, but was like sort of it was upped, but it was mostly just sort of upped to also be functional on the Switch. I feel like they're going to do that with this. Like, they're aiming for this. Like, this is mostly going to be a design for Switch, but they're going to, like, up it to be released on the Switch Pro.
Okay, so on that base, another thing to discuss about this is... that's really what we need... Oh, God, lost my trail of thought there. I was saying, I find it bizarre where we're going to have that Elden Ring is going to come out before Breath of the Wild 2.
Yeah.
Who would have seen that coming?
I mean, at the same time, they were both announced like in the same E3.
Yeah, but I actually thought Elden Ring was going to be in development hell for a lot longer. I genuinely was wondering if they were going to just abandon the previous generation and move on to the next one with it. But no, that we're obviously... It's going to be very interesting.
I mean, as I said to you before, FromSoft are normally very good at getting the games out, like, not that long after they're first revealed. So I think Elden Ring's probably the longest it's taken.
So out of the two games, which one are you two looking forward to more? Elden Ring or Breath of the Wild 2?
I'd probably go Breath of the Wild 2, only because it's still within the continuity of the Zelda timeline.
Okay.
Compared to Elden Ring, that looks like a new universe.
So what about you, Elliot? Which one would you say you're looking forward to?
Oh, definitely Elden Ring. I'm a huge Souls-like fan, and the trailer just blew me away. I'm so looking forward to it.
I would say some of the stuff I saw in this Breath of the Wild 2 trailer was jaw-dropping. I think I'm looking a little bit more forward to Breath of the Wild 2 just because I'm so excited to see how they brought back that sense of exploration that makes Breath of the Wild so great.
At the same time, though, you're definitely more of a Zelda Breath of the Wild fan than you are Dark Souls, anyway. Yeah,
but I'm getting more and more and more into Dark Souls, so Elden Ring will be very interesting. It'll be the first time I properly play, other than Demon Souls. It'll be the first time I'll be the first time I properly play one of these at release. So, how would you guys? Let's start with Reese, then go to Elliot. What do you think of this Direct?
I really loved it. I think it's the best Direct to be free.
Really, the best E3 Direct?
Yeah, definitely, because we had so many new announcements, like Metroid and that brings the story forward. That everyone thought was dead for years.
Okay.
You mean, I guess you mean this E3, not E3 overall.
Oh, right, yes.
Just the E3.
Yeah, because, if you ask me, the 2019 one was still better, in my opinion.
Yeah.
There's just a lot more 2019 that I was really looking forward to.
Yeah.
What about you, Elliot? What did you think of this Direct?
So good. It was so awesome. Like, I agree with Reese, easily the best one of the C3. People have been saying that, all the other ones, of course, have been very good, and Nintendo saved E3. If I were in that mindset, I would 100% agree. This was so good.
Okay.
Yeah. Also, let's not forget, Nintendo did the whole Direct, and not a single film was mentioned.
True.
I think that only happened with Ubisoft, so.
No.
And Microsoft and Gearbox.
Wait, Microsoft did one. Advertised one.
Did Microsoft advertise one?
Yeah,
No, I don't think it did.
I thought they announced like a TV show or something, didn't they?
No.
No, they didn't.
That was...
No.
Oh, wait, are you thinking... No, I was thinking the Tom Clancy thing, never mind.
Anyway, I thought this Direct was pretty good, actually. I thought it was a pretty good Direct. Like, the thing that they emphasised about this, that 2021 is going to be the year of the unsung heroes of Nintendo. Sort of like for the lack of a better term, lesser respected franchises. The ones that have the cult followings. Like the Mario parties, your WarioWares, your Metroids.
The Advance Wars.
Advance Wars. Those sort of... I kind of like the fact those sort of slightly smaller games are going to be a big part of Nintendo this year. I think it's going to put a lot more emphasis on Nintendo fans to check these sort of games out.
Yeah, especially because Advance Wars still has a massive cult following.
Okay. What the big elephant? There's two big.
Quick question with Advance Wars. So, do you think it's going to do the same effect that Fire Emblem Awakening did, where it's going to take this niche audience and make them a lot more mainstream?
Well, I probably don't think so, because Fire Emblem also has the whole waifu attribute, which Advance Wars doesn't.
I also think.
Well, I mean, I don't think Fire Emblem that was a big, massive emphasis on why Fire Emblem became really good. Don't get me wrong, it's definitely a factor. Don't get me wrong, it's definitely a big factor, but it's not like the main reason.
I think the reason
because look at Robin, he able to pick a female avatar. A load of people latched onto that straight away.
I think,
and then Lucina sends me Marv, who's integral to the plot.
I mean, okay, I will admit, when it comes to gaming waifus, Lucina's mine.
Okay, on the basis of that one, on your question, Elliot, I think it's not going to, precisely because of the release date. I think it's too close to Pokemon.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
And
that was sort of a factor that made me think maybe not.
I think Awakening came out at a time there wasn't a lot of competition, and more people were drawn to the 3DS than they were the Wii U at the time. So I think they were looking for that one. Like the big Wii U release that time was Super Mario 3D World, and not everyone was a huge fan of it. It's more that sort of regained an audience in years past. So,
and then don't forget, we also got Robin in Smash.
That also helped as well, yeah. Whereas you look at, I mean, maybe Advance Wars will do it. I'd be very interested to see, but this is all we get. That's a pretty good deal, I think.
Yeah, because the update visuals and the mechanics.
So we're going to talk about a few of the things that were missing from this Direct, but the two big elephant in the rooms are, well, the one that we didn't think was going to show up was, because they said it was going to be software only, was the Switch Pro, which I still think we see that before the end of the tax year. I think we see that before March.
Yeah.
Meanwhile, everyone on Twitter, everyone was laughing, just like, you thought the Switch Pro was going to be announced, you idiot.
Now, I'm getting sick of the people saying the Switch Pro doesn't exist, because I am very convinced it does.
Yeah, I'm not gonna. Yeah, I'm sick on both ends. Sick of the people saying it does not going to exist, because it very likely is. But I'm also kind of sick on the people who keep saying we're going to get like an announcement this week. We're going to get an announcement this week. Like there's that being just. I predict we're going to be getting the Switch Pro, dude. That's the 7th Dude, this is the 7th week in a row. Shut up.
Yeah, because don't forget, did you guys see the Animal Crossing news?
Which one was the Animal Crossing news again?
Nintendo uploaded some new photos of them, and the dimensions of the photos are in 4K. Everyone thought, oh, that's going to be the Switch Pro.
Well, that's a bit of a stretch. I think the 4K, it might be, but I think you can take the imagery from the Switch and blow it up to 4K. It's not difficult.
You can, but the resolution will still be 1080.
That is true. So, that's actually an interesting point.
Whereas these photos were native 4K.
I think we definitely confirmed that the Switch Pro will not launch this year.
Yeah, we know it's probably still in development.
Yeah,
because the Switch is nearly 6 years old this year or something.
It's turning 5 years next year, like in March next year.
No,
so we're currently in the 5th year of it. So currently it's the 5th year on sale, and they said last year the Switch is in the halfway point of its life. So they're aiming for like 6 or 7 years of the Switch.
Yeah.
That's so that to me, if they want to keep that going, I think a revision would help it. I think we see the revision. I think the revision is a Twitter drop, and we'll see it in October or January, and it will be very simple. And they'll just very much go over it with no real game announcements. A bit like what they did with the Lite.
Yeah, because if I remember not just that, when the Switch was first announced, that was just a Twitter drop.
I don't think it will be in a direct. I'm with you on that one. I think we won't see the Switch revision in a direct.
I feel like we'll be getting a Twitter drop, then we'll be getting like a direct that contains like a bunch of games that will be enhanced by it or something like that.
Yeah, because what we need to look up was how soon after the PS4 drop was the Pro announced?
2 or 3 years, I think.
Yeah. So Nintendo definitely took longer.
I think...
Yeah. But at the same time, I think they're planning for the Switch to last longer. Yeah. Like, you saw how long the 3DS lasted.
I think the reason they're going to... one of the things that they're talking about is the idea that the Switch will be Nintendo's console for a very long time. And they're going to make it like mobile phones, where they bring a new model in and then quietly phase out the old model. Which, if they did that, you could have an extremely great game library of that console by the time it's all said and done. I kind of hope they do that, to be honest, because I kind of want the Switch to go on as long as possible.
Yeah, I could definitely see that happen. I think that would be pretty cool.
So, the other big elephant in the room that wasn't here was Bayonetta 3.
Yeah.
Platinum.
So, what is happening with Bayonetta 3? Because they keep saying it's fine, but we haven't seen anything since 2017.
Yeah, well, the big theory going around is that the team's just working on a Babylon 4 game for the PS5.
It's like, well, yeah, that's fine.
The team is kind of split between them. So maybe when Babylon 4's out, like, they'll have their full attention on Bayonetta. Unless Yoko Taro decides out of nowhere to make another Nier game.
Yeah, because with Platinum, they don't normally split the dev team. They normally focus on one game at a time.
Which is weird because in the time that Bayonetta 3 got announced, we've had Platinum announce, market, and release 2 games. Well, also pretty much release, when Babylon's 4 comes out, release 2 games. We've had... because we'll have had Astral Chain and then Babylon's 4. And it goes up even more if you include them publishing Wonderful 101 Remastered.
Yeah.
God, that is an awful port of that game.
It is.
Absolutely, yeah.
The one that I also... Was there anything else? The one other thing that I found interesting it was missing, but I don't think it means it's not real, is the Twilight Princess and Wind Waker collection.
Yeah, the Zelda collection. I was going to say that, yeah.
So, what do we think's happened with that? Is that... One, do we think it's real, or do we think this is all we're getting for Zelda's 35th anniversary?
I feel like unless we get like something in September, we're not going to be getting it.
Reese, what do you reckon?
Well, how close are we now to the 35th anniversary?
We've gone past it. It was February.
Yeah, I think it's definitely been left too long.
I think a couple of things is going to happen. I think the major reason if this is real, the major reason they didn't show it off was because there were one of a few things that's happened. The first thing is they don't want to overshadow Skyward Sword. They already know Skyward Sword does not have the greatest reputation, and the marketing has not been amazing this time around. It might be a wise idea to just say, hold it off, let Skyward Sword have its moment, and then we'll announce we're bringing you more Zelda. Or one thing I heard from Jeff Grubb's Twitter account is they might be holding it and then releasing it if they can't get a Zelda game out in 2022.
Yeah.
So
But by that point, we'll be way past the 35th anniversary. We'll be in the 36th, so...
Yeah, but they don't have to label it as part of the 35th anniversary if they don't need to. I mean, they've got a 35th anniversary product already down. I mean, as I say, I will listen to a lot more of the Insiders podcasts that I'm listening to, and I'll let you know if they have any information on it. But that
also, just quickly, I have to disagree with you with the ports that are coming. I don't think it's just going to be Wind Waker and Twilight Princess. I think Ocarina of Time is going to be in there as well.
See, here's the thing.
Because I don't think they'll do like a massive Zelda collection without including Ocarina of Time.
Now, here's my thoughts on that one, Elliot. I think this might have accidentally confirmed Nintendo's working on N64 collection for the Switch, and they're going to raise the price of Nintendo Switch Online into different tiers. And if you go to a higher tier, you get N64 games. And I think they'll launch it with saying, by the way, here's the first few games you can get. Ocarina of Time, Majora's Mask are coming to Switch via this collection. It's £30 a year if you want them.
Yeah.
Does that sound feasible to you guys?
Well, if they do bring Ocarina of Time over, would they just bring the N64 version?
I think
would they bring the 3DS version over?
I think they bring over they bring over the 3DS versions if they want to do a full price release of them. If they want to make it part of a collection of sort of like bringing N64 games to the Switch, they just bring those N64 games.
I feel like they would only bring in the 3DS versions if they do a collection of that and the 3DS version of Majora's Mask. I can't really see it otherwise.
So, is there anything else you guys felt was missing from this one, or didn't really get talked about?
Well, one of the big rumours is about Monolith Soft. That they were expecting them to make an announcement for Nintendo.
I agree. I think a Monolith Soft announcement would have been good here. Maybe I think we hear more from Monolith Soft in September. I feel like that's one I would put some money on. I would say Monolith Soft, whatever Monolith Soft is working on, aside from helping out with
Breath of the
Wild 2, we see that in a September Direct, and we know Nintendo likes to have a Direct in September around the time of the Tokyo Game Show. So that's where I think we see Monolith Soft.
That's the thing I feel like might have been that I think we were kind of expecting, but not fully, was the announcement with the classic remix of the Final Fantasy games coming over the Switch.
Yeah, we think we were kind of hoping for that one, and that didn't really happen. That's a shame. What about going back to Monolith Soft, Reese? What do you reckon it might be?
Well, considering the time span between X and 2, we're roughly in the same time now between the release dates of them two to now between us and 2. So we were thinking maybe like an X complete edition or remaster.
Yeah. I was thinking maybe. I was thinking maybe that because I do not see us getting like a Xenoblade 3 anytime soon.
I'll tell you one game I predicted is going to come out. I think it will be something Xenoblade related, considering that Pyra's come into Smash Brothers, so they're really emphasizing Xenoblade. I've had a thought on this one. I reckon it's going to be they'll be teaming up with Koei Tecmo again, and we're going to get Xenoblade Warriors.
Now that could really work because that's pretty much what they did for Xenoblade X, where you stick on massive groups of monsters.
I mean, think about it. There's so many great characters you could have. You got Shulk, Rex. You've got Ricky, Dunban,
Ryan,
Morag.
I would probably disagree with that because unlike a lot of the other, unlike the other Warriors games we've gotten, like of course High Warriors, Fire Emblem Warriors, we've only gotten 2 Xenoblade games so far, so I don't really think we will have big enough of a cast.
No, because we're at 3 because we've had X.
3X has come out as well.
Yeah.
But the thing is, I don't know if like Nintendo. I don't think X sold very well, so I don't know if Nintendo like still really acknowledge that game or not.
Yeah, it's sold decently for Wii U.
Yeah, I think it is in the 20 best selling Wii U games.
Yeah.
Yeah, but that's the key. For Wii U, the Wii U really did not sell well.
So, I think Reese might be. I think Reese is more likely to be accurate, and we're going to get a complete edition of Xenoblade Chronicles X.
Yeah, I feel like we get that out of anything else. Yeah.
But I think we'll see it in September. Monolith Soft is September. I can't think of anything else where I thought, why wasn't that here? Maybe the Donkey Kong game that's being made by the Mario Odyssey team might be. Yeah. Or what the Mario Kart devs are up to. Are they up to a new kart racing game, or are they up to an ARMS 2? But I get a sense of Nintendo didn't want to. I get a sense of this is not Nintendo playing all their cards at this point. I think they've held some stuff back here.
Yeah, especially with Mario Kart, we normally only get one per console generation. So if there isn't a one, we may not see it until the Switch Pro.
I feel.
Yeah, I hope we do. I hope we do get another one because, like, yes, it's only a new Mario Kart game by name only. It's still Mario Kart 8. They have not done that much to change it.
I think it's going to be.
So we're essentially still playing a 7-year-old game. A 7-year-old game, and of course, tons of people are just thinking, "Where's Mario Kart 9?" Like, we get 2 Mario parties on the same. If we can get 2 Mario parties on the same console, surely we can get another Mario Kart.
Yeah, but Mario Party does tend to have multiple entries per console. It's not one where we expect one per console most of the time.
Yeah, because just look at the N64.
Or even the Wii.
Had so many Mario parties.
I think the only console I can think of where there was one Mario Party was the Wii U.
Yeah.
There was only Mario Party 10 on it. There was not any other Mario Party games. I've had a thought on this one as well. I think it will be. I think the game that team is developing is either ARMS 2, which I think is more likely, or it's Nintendo Kart. So that way they can release this new kart racer. It won't be competing directly with Mario Kart, and they can do all these ideas they've had. So you can have like Mario and all those characters, but you can have Link and Samus and Kirby.
So Super Kart Bros.
Essentially, yeah, you would get a Smash Brothers style kart racing game.
Yeah.
That you could see that happening, surely.
Yeah, I can see that happening, especially considering the fact we had like the Animal Crossing Splatoon and Zelda characters coming to Mario Kart 8.
But the thing that says to me is, Nintendo, you have a kart racing game you haven't touched for years that would work well as a complementary piece to Mario Kart. Just make a new Diddy Kong Racing. You own the IP. Rare doesn't own this. You can make a new one. You did on the 3DS. Do it again. Seriously, I love a new Diddy Kong Racing.
I think most people would, yeah.
Yeah, but would it be the same without Conker, though?
And Banjo, yeah. That would be a thing. Would you be able to do that? I reckon, though, Microsoft and Nintendo are so buddy-buddy these days. I think they could actually do a good negotiation deal with them and say, come on, let us have Banjo and Conker, and we will... And it will go toward... And then maybe we'll let you have Game Pass on Switch.
Yeah.
I still do not see Game Pass coming to Switch.
I would say I wouldn't rule it out at this point. That's all I'm going to say. I wouldn't rule it out.
I personally think at the minute the architecture between the Xbox and the Switch is too different.
That's why I reckon it's going to...
Not to mention the Game Pass. Not to mention Game Pass is on PC, which is Windows, which is owned by Microsoft. Microsoft do not have like any shares in Nintendo, So it would not. So they wouldn't really be getting anything from doing that.
If they did do it, it would be via cloud streaming rather than it be on natively on the Switch, obviously. But all I would say is, from what I've been hearing, it might happen, and I wouldn't rule it out completely, but not incredibly likely. So that really...
Personally, I would rule it out completely. I do not see that happening at all.
Okay, we're going to save this timestamp for when that happens.
Well, also, one last thing. Just look how badly Google Stadia's crashed and burned.
Oh,
and that was all cloud gaming.
There we go. We're back to Google Stadia again.
So I don't think Nintendo would want to associate one of their products with something like Google Stadia.
Yeah.
But they wouldn't be associating with Google Stadia. They'd be associating with Xbox xCloud, which has a much better reputation. But that's neither here nor there. I think Elliot's probably right, and it won't happen. But I wouldn't completely rule it out. I'm not willing to say no. That's definitely not going to happen. Shall we then? I think we need to really wrap up E3 as a whole. So, what do we? Something is definitely moving around the background.
Yeah, I can hear something knocking.
I don't think it's me.
So
is it Ren shuffling about?
No, it's not Ren shuffling about. Unfortunately, if you were to, how do you think this E3 was as a? Oh wait, we didn't do the Scott the Woz thing. How many knee slaps do we think you'll give it?
I find it really funny how we're associating the ratings with how Scott the Woz would do it.
No, I'm just saying. Well, let's predict how much he's going to give it in his E3 video.
I think he's going to score it quite high. I think at least.
Yeah, I'm going to say probably 4.5 because he's a massive. He's like quite a few of the games that come out that have been announced are games that he's a fan of.
I think for some reason he's going to find something slightly off for him and give it 3.5.
Yeah.
But how do you think this E3 turned out?
As a whole, I say probably below average. As a whole.
Yeah.
Yeah, as a whole, as I said, quite underwhelming. The only conference that really had things I was actually really excited for was Nintendo.
Okay, it was underwhelming for me as well, but I would say, for me, Xbox had a very good show as well, and I really liked the Xbox show, and it really made me emphasize. And what it did for me was, it justified my purchase of an Xbox Series X in a big way. Although, that being said, I thought Nintendo had a great show. I didn't think Square's one was as bad as everyone made it out to be. But
yeah, Square's is still getting a lot of hate for some reason.
I can sort of understand why. I mean, don't get me wrong, I do still like it, but there wasn't really too much to get really excited over.
So
yeah, but a lot of people saying it's been worse than like Capcom.
No.
That's not the case. Fuck off with that shit.
Yeah, that's what I said.
So, if you were to put them in an order, the ones we covered, I'll go Reese, Elliot, me. From bottom to top, how would you rate the conferences in this E3?
So, bottom being the worst?
Yes.
I'd probably go like Capcom, Ubisoft, Square, Microsoft, Nintendo.
Elliot?
Same as this, honestly.
Yeah, exact same for me. Capcom didn't really... It's annoying, because I was thinking at one point saying, maybe put Capcom above Ubisoft because the games in it interested me more than the ones in Ubisoft, but I can't help but think Ubisoft did a better presentation.
Especially not to mention, Ubisoft actually showed new things.
Yeah, that was going to be my point.
Yeah, that was the thing that made me go, yeah, no, I cannot say Ubisoft had a worse conference than Nintendo. I have a lot of for Ubisoft, Square, and even to a certain extent Capcom, I have a bit of sympathy for them because this was clearly put together at the last minute.
Yeah.
They did not have the organisation in place for it. Now, America's doing a lot better with COVID right now than, well, most of the world at the minute. So they will, like, for example, wrestling shows are starting to get back to full capacity, sports starting to get back to full capacity, concerts are starting to come back.
I just noticed how after the funny Orange Man was no longer president, everything suddenly started going better for them. What a shock!
Who would have thought that the country would do better without a massive prick in charge?
Yeah, without the country being run by a cheesy Watson in a toupee. That joke was stolen by...
really suffering with their repeated waves of COVID.
Yeah, Japan's not doing very well at the minute.
Japan, I think, will get their... I think this will be the big kick in the pants for Japan to get their shit together, though. I would say statistically, the COVID situation will be much better this time next year. And that's just from statistics alone on this one. So on that basis, I would say we will have an in-person E3 next year. So I imagine next year's E3 is going to be quite a bit better on the basis of the dev teams for most of these companies will have all had much better equipment to work with. We'll have less shortages of supply. There'll be more games that will have had better development times in place. I think next year's E3 will be a lot better.
Yeah.
Especially considering now everyone's starting to get the vaccines now.
So on that basis, we might even go out to... I mean, I would consider going out to America just to do E3 because it's better than staying up late to watch these shows.
Definitely.
Yeah.
So, what do you think... so, I'd say... Don't say E3 shouldn't come back next year because this one was bad. I think people need to... One, adjust their expectations for E3, because I feel like every E3 people say, oh, E3 wasn't that great this year, E3's dying because all the announcements that we wanted to see didn't show up.
That's because here's the thing, and I've seen this with the Smash announcements, most notably with the Byleth ones. People aren't thinking, oh, I hope we get this, or it will be really cool of that. No, they'll always say, we're getting this, we're 100% getting this. If we don't get this, I'll be pissed. Like, I remember someone saying, like a reaction video during Byleth, someone said, if we don't get Dante, I'm going to be very disappointed.
Like, that is... All of it's just genuinely very surprising to me. I think it's time for us all to go into E3 with, I wouldn't say lower expectations, I'd say tempered expectations. Especially...
Yeah, at the same time, though, they're gamers. They're gonna bitch about anything.
I think
take that when Skyward Sword was announced. Like people were saying, we want Skyward Sword. We want Skyward Sword. Yeah, we got Skyward Sword. Wait, Nintendo wants us to buy a 10-year-old game? What the hell, Nintendo? It just reminds me of that scene in SpongeBob with the kid crying over ice cream, and the dad just going. So why did you ask for it?
Did you know, actually, the other SpongeBob meme I'm surprised didn't come out this week, is the idea of that towards E3. How many times do we have to teach you this lesson, old man? I'm surprised that one didn't become the thing. So, yeah, I must be honest.
I always say that whenever game journalists say Dark Souls needs an easy mode.
I will say... despite the fact it was kind of a lackluster year, I had a lot of good fun covering doing the first time professionally covering an E3 with you guys. So I must be honest.
Yeah, it's been a lot of fun.
I mean, we will be we're going to be. I don't know when we're going to talk gaming news. Do one of these game podcasts again. But
so we might just do one randomly if we're bored one day, who knows?
I think the next one will be... What the plan at this point in time is, we're going to do one for the next Sony State of Play, and there's a rumour we're going to get one in a couple of weeks.
Yeah.
So we'll be looking at that and saying, how would this have gone down if it had been at E3?
Also, I'm trying my hardest to have Calvin let us cover the EA conference. So everyone out there, tweet at Calvin telling him that we want the EA conference.
We will, unless that actually happens, we will not be doing the EA conference. What are they going to reveal in?
It'll just be an hour's worth of microtransactions.
Yeah, what are they going to reveal in that I will give a shit about?
I mean, we could just do it to bitch.
True, but
we could just do it to complain. It's fun to complain. Come on.
I think that the latest we will be back is with one of these is the September Nintendo Direct, and I'm very confident we will see a September Nintendo Direct where they go a bit more into detail about Nintendo's 2022 lineup.
Or we can always come back tomorrow for Pokemon Unite.
Oh, no.
Favorite new MOBA.
No way. I suffered enough with trying to pad out the Capcom one. We are not trying to pad that shit out. But that being said, I think the one thing we didn't emphasize in this is Nintendo's 2021 is looking very good.
Yes.
It is. Like I do kind of agree with Scott was when he said with 2020, it did feel like quite lackluster.
So,
like, it did not feel like that much came out. This year feels like we're going to get a lot of really good stuff.
Well, let's look at the lineup in a minute. We've got next week Mario Golf. July, Monster Hunter Stories 2, Skyward Sword HD. In August, No More Heroes 3. September, WarioWare. I think we get another game in there that's going to get announced at another point, but never mind. But we'll get to that anyway. October, Metroid Dread and Mario Party Superstar. November, we're going to have Shin Megami Tensei 5 and Pokemon. December, Advance Wars. That's it's a lot of lesser known franchises, but that's a fantastic lineup.
Yeah, absolutely. We're going to be busy with the reviews anyway.
So
we also got to mention about Bandai Namco the one on after Nintendo, and they only revealed that one game.
Yeah, where they only talked about the Dark Anthology game. Really, what do you think they're going to say? Oh, it's a horror game. Oh, your decisions impact the story, but they don't really. Oh, characters can die. Ugh.
Well, thank you very much for joining us for all these E3 ones. We're hoping to have an Anime Amigos out on next Friday.
Yeah, where everyone gushes about Fruits Basket.
Including us.
Including you, Reese. I know you're going to gush about it as well.
Of course.
All right, so we'll see you next time, guys. Thank you.
Thank you. Take care.